You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Ian, look at this.
What, it's a police box. What on earth is he doing here? I mean, these things are usually on the street. I feel it. I feel it. You feel it?
Faint vibration.
It's alive.
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup celebrating nearly 50 years of the Doctor Who universe. Hold tight. You never know where the TARDIS is going next.
You're probably a bit confused right now. I broke the glass. It's all come back to me.
What is this?
That's my ship.
What?
Let me take it from the top. Hello, I'm the Doctor. I'm a traveller in space and time. And that thing buried down there is called a TARDIS. Time and relative dimension in space. You're gonna love this.
Sea Devil.
Coming straight for us.
That's impossible. Madam Ching! Pirate Queen!
Where's the crew? That'll be us. We don't stand a chance.
Yes, did you just stand up like this? You're like a kid sometimes. Thanks. Say hello to my crew. The world has been disrupted.
Because of you. Because of what you unleashed.
You want to create chaos.
It is our time.
Man the cannons. The ship is going down. Down!
Hey there, Earth Station Who listeners. Welcome to the second to last episode with Jodie as the Doctor. We are looking at Legend of the Sea Devils. It was interesting. Only the third time that we've actually got to see the Sea Devils on TV. And it's pretty interesting to think about because they are just about getting ready to celebrate their 50th anniversary. And, you know, not to make anyone feel old or anything. So, you know.
Wait for that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, 56? What are you doing now?
I thought it was their 60th anniversary.
Of the Sea Devils? No, you can't be.
Oh, the Sea Devil. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
No, I know Doctor
Who's 60th anniversary is next year.
That's next
I'll be over here in
year.
the shame corner.
I was like, what? So, yeah. Exactly.
Well,
So
technically, it's like their 60 millionth.
yeah,
anniversary.
exactly. Depending, you know, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff. But we're going to be talking all about the spring special of Doctor Who, and it was interesting because you got a kind of historical setting, maybe, with some legends, and it's going to be fun to see what our thoughts were for this, what you'd think about the Doctor, Yaz, who had some very touching moments in this one, and you also had Dan with a hook. So it'll be a lot of fun to talk all about this one. Of course, we'd like to, welcome our folks listening and watching over on Facebook Live, or if you're at home, hi, welcome. Everyone's waving because we're on video. So, you know, it's kind of cool. We also got a great crew here to join us tonight. Of course, you know, let's welcome first our regulars. Mr. Mike Gordon is here.
Howdy.
And Mary Ogle is here.
Oh, everybody, it is fantastic to be here.
And we have a couple guests with us. Of course, she's becoming our new regular for all the video production we're doing. Let's welcome Melanie Dean.
Hello, everybody.
It is awesome to have you. And coming to us, how do you guys want to be introduced? As like from Earth Station Trek, from Monkeying Around, or Felton Nerdy, which, you know.
All of the above.
All the above.
Guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged. We have, of course, Charles and Veronica. Welcome, my friends.
Hi. Thanks for having us back.
Yeah.
Oh, it is I was like trying to figure when I was putting this together who I would want to have on the show, and you guys were like first in mind. It was pretty awesome.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say they weren't available.
No.
They all were not available.
Ixnay on the Oxnay, and then we'll be fine. Down low. Come on, folks. You guys were my 55th choice. It's okay. But it's okay. But we love having you guys here, and we love having you guys at home. If you're on Facebook, please join in the chat. We're going to be doing some talking about the special, and want to hear your thoughts and comments on it. It should be a ton of fun. And at home, of course, feedback at earthstationwho.com. If it's your first time listening to us, because we met a ton of folks when we were up at South Carolina Comic-Con, and we met a lot of Whovians. I was actually really surprised how many Whovians we found in South Carolina. And
there was a doctor there, so.
There was. It was pretty cool to see Sylvester, and and it kind of ties in a little bit to the trailer that we'll talk about later. But we will be, spoiling the hell out of this one. So if this is your first time listening, welcome. If not, thank you for coming back. And folks, let's have fun with this one. We're going to be talking a lot about it, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the really bad, costumes. But I mean, the ideas for this will be very interesting, and I'll be very curious to hear what folks are going to think about this one. We might as well jump off onto it. It actually did not do so hot in the ratings overnight and everything. I think it.
We didn't pay attention to this.
No, I know we don't pay attention to the ratings, but just overnight in the UK, it came in 11th place at the time slot, which is
Wow.
That's low because isn't that like just barely under the number of channels that they have?
I was going to say, don't they have only like 5 channels?
They're like the last.
And
they were going up against Britain's Got Talent.
Yep, exactly.
And it's like, nope, not going to win.
And it's interesting too because as we always like to say, we never go by what the numbers are overnight because so many people do not watch it overnight or through TV anymore. People stream, people watch it on demand, all these DVR it, there's so many different ways to watch this now. And so I usually throw those numbers out anyway, because TV is not like it was 10 years ago where, you had a DVR or you watched it live. Because, that's the only options you had until it came out on DVD at that point. So, it was just real interesting to see. But, nowadays, you have so many more options that, it's hard to judge that kind of thing. So, I
would be curious, here in the States, it airs on BBC America, of course, and it airs twice. It airs in the afternoon because it simulcasts with over there in Britain. And then also they do a special edition at night during prime time. So I do wonder whether more people either watch it live on either one or even recording it, DVR it, which one they choose to do. Mine, because I have it set up to record anything new Doctor Who related, it usually nabs them both. But I've watched the special edition the last 2 times. Been fooled me twice. Shame on me, right? So,
yep.
So now I just watch it. I just record the first one and then I rewatch it with subtitles because I need those because Dan's accent is too thick sometimes. Yeah, so I don't know. I'd be curious to see what the BBC America, like what their numbers are regarding that as well.
Yeah, because we watch it on Sling with BBC America, so because we don't have the cable with it, because cable with BBC America is ridiculously expensive and Sling is cheaper. So we DVR and kind of watch it live.
I did notice that one difference, which I find hilarious, is that in the British feed, when they do the closed captions, with the sound of the TARDIS, they actually type out VORP,
VORP.
Which is really cool.
That's awesome.
And on BBC America, when I watch it with subtitles, it just says TARDIS whirling. That's all. That's the noise it makes. So they don't even get the actual TARDIS sound right.
It's Americanized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's interesting too because I saw it twice. I saw it on BBC America, and because we don't have cable either, we actually stream AMC Plus, so that's how we get to watch it. And we got it, AMC Plus free for like 6 months through some Apple product we bought or something like that, if I remember. So it doesn't matter, but it's just interesting because it's the same way. We watched it live, and then the next day it's on demand. So we watched it a second time because we were fixing dinner and everything for when we were on Sunday. So we weren't able to pay full attention. And then we watched it last night before we recorded our Station 1. And I don't know if it held up that well the second time.
So you liked it less the second time?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Kind of, sort of.
You can admit it. You can be honest here.
I thought I said the same thing about the new Harry Potter movie that we saw over the weekend, that the scenery was beautiful in this. I thought the shots, the sets was gorgeous. I really liked it. I loved what they did with the time stream. That was pretty darn amazing. It's like, okay, this is where the budget's going. But the costumes and the story was horrible, and I'm just putting it out there right away. There was some redeeming parts about it, but overall it was a typical Chibnall story.
Did you notice the Sea Devil's mouths still don't move?
Nope.
Even in the new costumes.
I'm glad they sound better than they did when,
That's trying to keep with the original concept, Mary.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I noticed that the statue was very, very much like the classic Sea Devils.
Yes.
But when they broke out, they were more modern.
They look pretty old-fashioned Sea Devils to me, and their mouths sort of undulated a little bit. But I kind of like the goofy-looking rubber monster heads. So I like the Sea Devils. I thought they were fun.
Oh, I did too, and I was looking forward to seeing it because on the last episode of Earth Station Who, we reviewed the Pertwee story where they first appeared. And it was a great master story. And the Sea Devils were kind of like side characters. And when they appeared the second time in the Peter Davison era, they kind of were side characters once again to the Silurians.
I'm not sure they aren't still side characters even in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could almost see that, Mary. I kind of agree with that.
I mean, you still get no real backstory. You get some kind of lame exposition, but you don't learn much about them. They're just kind of cardboard villains.
It would be, now that we've established, of course, the Solarians have more of a presence with Doctor Who, but the Sea Devils exist as well. It would be really cool. I was thinking about this. It would be really cool if at some point we travel back in Earth's history when they both ruled. Like, how cool would that look? Like, we've never seen that before. That would be amazing. And that would give you some sort of context as to why, what they're trying to get back as far as their society and how things are and how, we little, hairless monkeys are just ruining everything. Because they're not wrong about that.
They have a point there.
I was going to say, they are so not wrong. We should be on their side. We should be rooting for them. I actually think, looking at just judging by their look, I would say out of the 3 stories that we have of them in all of Doctor Who, they look the best here.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
So I will say that. And that was, I didn't really have a problem with the way they looked. I thought they were really cool kind of looking.
I thought that their eyes were really well done in that.
Very much so.
It was very simple. It was just, I think it could have just been Chiron on. It was just black beadiness, and then you saw the white around it, and they'd move here and there.
Yeah.
So if you really kind of start staring and looking for reflection and all that, not going to get it.
No, not at all. But it was
more movement and there was a little bit of blinking. To his point with the mouth undulated a little bit.
Yeah.
So it kind of had that rubber feeling, but at least with that little stone kind of glowing when he was talking, kind of.
Well, that's the other
modulator.
thing.
I was like, okay, we're good.
I almost felt like maybe that was a translator or something.
Right.
Around that, and that's how you were hearing his voice or something. It was just an idea. No, when I first saw the face and everything and saw the eyes and everything, I kept on going through my head, what's the matter, Davy? From Davy and Goliath.
Wow, talk about dating.
I know, right?
Oh, I know, but it looked just like the same type of character, type thing. And no, I agree completely. They looked menacing in this. They, and I always thought, CGI would go a long way with the Sea Devils. And, I think, especially the heads or something, and have, maybe more traditional bodies or something. But I know there's only so much budget that BBC will give Doctor Who.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And this aspect of using CG to elevate what's already there, I thought it was perfect.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like blown away. Oh my, that was just the most amazing looking. No, because we will go into, I probably will go into very great detail on where it failed in this episode. But for that to elevate what was going on, I was happy.
Yeah, based on how they looked, I thought they got an upgrade. They still traditional, still pay homage to the traditional look of them, as well as upgrading it, as well as they're a cool looking species that I wouldn't mind seeing in the future. I mean, they look pretty cool.
I wouldn't mind at all seeing them again.
Yeah, I think they're pretty cool. I think as Mary pointed out, there's still a lot to explore with them.
Or there's a whole society.
They deserve a good story.
They do. This is like the third, and this might be my favorite of the three, actually, as far as the story wise goes, because I do think they are maybe not front and center, but they are certainly the driving force and the threat of this episode. So I don't find if the main character, the statue, the bad guy, I can't remember his name, but I don't know if I would put him among the best villains, but I mean, at least they do have agency in this one, whereas in the other two stories, they do not have as much.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Out of the ones we've seen, I would say this is the best too, but I still think they have a long way to go.
It's not a high bar to say this is the best.
This is really not. No. I love the scenes with the sea dragon was pretty amazing. I thought that those was pretty well done, especially when you see it like out at sea and you see the fins coming up and everything.
That part I did like, and that they kept it just as the shadow under it. But then what happened to it?
It just disappeared.
Who
it just disappeared.
knows?
It
you don't even see it grabs the TARDIS and almost swallows it. You don't even really see what happens.
No,
that happens just several times.
Magically switches to another scene.
Yeah, there's a lot of magic switching of scenes in this one.
And because it was funny when the scene you see, the TARDIS was in the dragon's mouth, and then it goes down into the ground and pulls it with it. And I was just like, when the next scene you see is the Doctor and Yaz getting out of the TARDIS, laying on its side, I was like, are they in the stomach of the dragon?
I actually thought that at first too.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. I did too.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what happened? Did it just go, I'm just going to carry it down, Davy, and put it down here, And
that was my biggest gripe with this entire episode was there's a lot of that jump editing where I'm going, wait, what happened? Did I miss something? And did I look at my drink? No, I was staring at the screen the entire time.
And I'm wondering, is that the director failing, or were they not given enough footage to work with because they were shooting during the pandemic?
Or was it a scene? Was it a scene that they by accident cut out or something? Because it could have been ending. Yeah. By accident. I'm trying to give them some credit here, folks.
By the way, at one point,
go ahead.
So at one point, it came back for commercials, and Dan and his buddy were all of a sudden like working with the Pirate Queen, and I thought I'd fast forwarded through something by mistake.
Nope.
Because the sling interface is real choppy, and I was like, oh, I think I missed something. But I wonder if it's. Are we getting the full thing? Are they cutting it down for the American broadcast?
If you saw it at the 210 version of it, that was the full version. Okay.
Yeah,
You know
you've seen it. I've seen enough Chibnall stories to know that. It's going to be choppy. Sorry,
Any comments in the Facebook group?
I was just about to say the only comment that we've gotten so far, and we've got like about a dozen people watching. So howdy, everybody! Thanks for watching. Someone asked about if the Sea Devil person the captain or whatever had a name, the leader. According
it's Chief
to
Sea Devil.
According to Wikipedia, it is Marcissus. I don't know if that's actually in the story itself, but
I don't think it is.
No.
It is. That's the one that's unleashed, trapped in stone, and then unleashed upon everybody. So that's the only Sea Devil that I know of that has a name.
It's funny because in the cast they have it listed as Chief Sea Devil.
Chief Sea Devil.
And then Sea Devil, Sea Devil, Sea Devil, Sea Devil. Sea Devil. It's like, okay. But I know he was played by the same actor that was...
Kavanistra.
Exactly. It was pretty awesome. So, exactly. They toned down his accent big time.
You're wearing a dog mask before. Here, now stick this on.
Now stick this on. It would have been
that way.
It would have been fun if they pulled off the head. It's Karanista! And everything. That would have made it a fun episode. I'm here to protect you, human. I don't like it, but I'm here. So, but yeah, it was interesting. What did you guys think of the relationship between the Doctor and the two companions in this one?
Well, she
Did she have any kind
down.
of? Yeah, I don't think she had any relationship with Dan in this episode at all. Hardly.
Well, Dan didn't even do that much.
Dan was an afterthought in this one.
At one point, she left a sentry while he was wandering around in China.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was one of the big cuts. All of a sudden, they're like together and pointing swords at each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then the Doctor and Yaz are in the TARDIS, and the other guy and Dan are off on the beach about to swim out to the boat. And you're like, well, how did she get away? What?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to know how the Pirate Queen was able to tie them both up.
I was just going there. By herself.
She's holding a sword.
Looking at the two of them I wasn't bothered by that at all. Because I'm like, you know what? I think she could definitely take them both.
They probably tied each other up.
Yeah,
for
she
her.
would have been better off just, saying, you know what? No, thanks. I don't need a crew, not with you two involved. So I'm just going to go off on my own, and you guys can swim back to shore.
Well, I kind of figure that happened at the same time when the Doctor and Yaz had made that nice netting trap where all of a sudden it kind of closed over the Chief Sea Devil. And they were holding him. I'm like, that must have been at that same point. Because when did y'all make a trap for this?
Exactly. They don't show that at all.
No. There just happened to be a fishing net right there.
Right there.
Pull that rope right over there. It's like,
like my sister has a good theory. She commented on the Facebook group that the sea monster's stomach is a port key to the Sea Devil's lair.
Wow, that's a tie-in we wasn't expecting.
There's a lot of port keys in this episode then.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, there was just way too much jumping, and it
is very choppy.
It
very
is.
choppy.
It felt like that they had... Sorry.
No, sorry, just real quick. Choppy, and it didn't need to be. I mean, this is not an epic storyline. We're not retelling Flux here. Like, it should be a really simple story to tell, and yet it's full of all this choppy stuff, and I don't know why that is. Because the premise, again, I can't knock Chibnall on the premise. The premise of involving the Pirate Queen and the Sea Devils is brilliant. Like, it just has so much potential. Mm-hmm. Madam Ching is a legendary figure that, we saw already her character abused in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Like, let's see like a really cool depiction of her. And Crystal Yule does a great job at portraying her, I think.
Oh, she was awesome. She was awesome.
Yeah.
It's not good. I didn't hate this story overall, but I didn't love it. It's just kind of there. It just kind of sits there for me. I wish it was better. I'm glad it's not worse. So it's just kind of
that's all we can ask for at this point.
Yeah, at this point, I'm like, as far as I know Chibnall bashing, big time, but I call that a win as far as a Chibnall story.
Wow, and the character of what was this, Jai Hun, or the pirate, the original one who had the treasure, and being kept alive for 250 years. Why? There was no.
I don't know about why, but we know they have the technology to do it.
Sure,
because I think that's what they do, right?
I think why was because they were trying to get the treasure location out of him.
Yeah.
So every 50 years they wake up, human.
Right. They slap him around a little, and then
he's kind of like their winter soldier, right? They bring him out every once in a while, let him breathe, let him get used to things, and then back. Oh, you going to tell us? Nope, back in you go.
Where is the stone? No, I will not tell you. Bye bye, and everything. So
I did like that this was just a lighthearted, fun adventure story. It wasn't trying to be the most important story ever told.
Oh, no way.
And I'm so burnt out on that because Doctor Who, not just Doctor Who, but Star Trek does it too, where every season, every story has to be rewriting history or the most fundamental thing you've ever seen. It has to be the most important thing you've ever watched. But I like that this was just swashbuckling with Sea Devils on a pirate ship, and it wasn't trying to be more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I still found it entertaining. I mean, for me, it was kind of a middle of the road Doctor Who story.
Sure.
I agree.
We've seen much worse. How's that for a compliment?
Well, sure. We've seen better. We've seen worse, right?
Yes.
According to the comments, Keith says great crossover idea. And he said, Matt Sweatman says, after seeing Our Flags Means Death, I kept expecting to see Rice Darby or Taika Waititi show up. That would have been a great crossover, sure. It's pretty standalone. Most people wanted more than that.
Mm-hmm. Johnny Depp's not doing anything. He could have showed up as Captain Jack.
He is doing something.
Yeah, he's testifying
today.
Yeah,
right now.
I saw him testify.
He's just not working.
He's testifying now, so he's a bit busy. I think he's been removed from too many other franchises for him to start another one.
Yes. He wouldn't be starting it. He'd be continuing Yo Ho Ho, So it could have been. It would be interesting to see, some of they would have touched on the Silurians, or they would have touched on, and the Doctor even asked, "What are you doing here? Why are you here?" And he
never got answered.
Never got answered at all. Mm-hmm. And even the Chief Sea Devil, when he got rescued by the other Sea Devils when they came up on the boat, and he basically, thank you for waking from your slumber. So have they been all in suspended animation until he was awoken?
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, that was weird. Because we got the impression that, I don't know why, but he was around before. Humans who had that treasure or whatever, that gem, trapped him, right? And so once he was freed, he was out for revenge. The typical Sea Devils thing. We want the Earth back for ourselves, that kind of thing. I got the plot. I got his story. It wasn't really well planned out and explained, but I got enough of it to know exactly what his motivations were. But I didn't. There could have been more there.
No.
Yeah, I didn't really care. That's true. And how there's a lot of stuff that's missing. So why was he out in the first place? Was he discovered? What happened? There's all that stuff. One thing I'm bashing. One thing I really, really, really liked though was that the Doctor and Yaz were like, well, let's just go to where we know the treasure is before it was lost. We'll go back in time because we have a time machine, which we hardly ever use for things like this. We'll go back to find out where the treasure was last seen and then figure out what was happening. I love that. The Doctor doesn't do that enough.
No,
exactly. One of the other scenes, though, is when they landed on the bottom of the ocean and they opened the door. And, of course, there was an air bubble or pocket around it. And because they've done that in the Fifth Doctor era, they landed in the bottom of the Thames, and the Doctor was just like, "Oh, Peter Davison says, I can't open the doors here because if I open the doors, I could empty the river out." Basically, because it would just all end up in the TARDIS. It's so big, and why? It's like same technology.
So
the
they could have a romantic moment.
It hasn't had the Doctor.
Peter Davison's Doctor didn't want to have a romantic moment with anybody.
Not with those three. No.
Yeah, we had to have some longing glances and pining.
Our good friend Mark Heffernan says, "I've always been a sucker for historical pieces in Doctor Who, and I thought this was an enjoyable episode. Eva Daleks, though, was definitely a better one."
Okay. I agree with that.
But
I just have that feeling for this episode that they probably wrote this to be a special length, like an hour 15, that they had that nice look. We're going to make this nice and long. And then they realized, we only have the money for 47 minutes. And we don't have the time to rewrite. So what chunks would you like to just remove? And what are we just going to shoot? And we'll just edit it together. Come on. I know Chibnall's a better writer. As much as I know I can go off on that man, I know he's a better writer than that. So with all these little edits, that just makes me I just feel like there's so much more of these little parts of the plot that were missing. Like him being frozen for centuries. For him to all of a sudden just kind of show up, that felt like almost like a cliffhanger that you would have right in front of a commercial break, where you'd kind of go, "Oh my goodness!" Or even when he realizes that the other gentleman that was with Dan the entire time, where he was holding the little yellow stone, and it's like you're the descendant of blah 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 blah. It just seemed like that was very poignant, and then they had shot that yes, that's his line. But it was just so quickly thrown in there. I'm kind of like, that was kind of rushed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was very rushed.
The script could have used definitely a few more passes. It doesn't feel like two people were writing this, or at least not in the same universe.
No.
One comment we have from Matt says, "So glad they put the Yaz romance to bed, so to speak." So that's a great segue into, did they? I don't feel like they did.
No.
And I was not, of course, I'm not a fan of it, period. Not because I don't believe in Doctor companion romances. I know a lot of people don't believe in that. I personally don't have a problem with that. I just find that that's the only way they feel that they can make Yaz interesting. And that's a horrible crutch. And she's better than that, or she should be. And I don't think this episode did her any favors either.
No, it's almost like they tried to turn her into Martha in the sense of the unrequited love storyline. That was very unfortunate in Martha's era.
Yes.
But even then, it's like they rushed quickly in unrequited love, and now suddenly it is possibly requited love, and it still feels crazily rushed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it just came out of nowhere. It just showed up all of a sudden. And then it's killed all of a sudden. There's no emotional resonance there. And I think that's a problem with a lot of Chibnall stories, is there's no underlying emotional resonance, that it is just going from one scene to another. We just got to get through. I got step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And there's nothing underlying it. There's no infrastructure. And so it just kind of all crumbles.
Yeah. Melanie, you mentioned, is it Jai Han, right?
Jai Han.
His sacrifice felt lazy and empty.
Yes.
Oh, because you don't get to know him at all.
No, you don't.
I've been around thousands of years, so no, this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's a perfect example of what Mary's talking about, because like he's going through these motions, he's writing these things, but they don't, and the actors are doing what they can, whatever they can bring to it, they're trying. And I think that's what I've been really impressed with certainly these last specials with Jodie's performance, because man, she is putting it all out there.
Mm-hmm.
She is putting it all out there, and she's been more compelling as a doctor than she was in the beginning, in my opinion. And it's a shame that she is going away, and it's a shame that she didn't have anybody better to help her with her stories.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's the one point in this that I can't complain about. The writing was not very strong, but she put everything into it. She was awesome. And it was even a little more exciting for me to know she was doing a lot of her own stunts in this one too, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
And, like when she slid down the boat and everything, the side of it and everything, they were like, oh, we don't want you to do that. There's a pretty big drop on the other side. She says, I'll do it. And she says, after she made it down, you're right. That was a big jump down on that side. So it was just like, yeah. But no, she's great. I love her as the Doctor. And I would so love to see her further as under RTD or, whoever, whatever comes next. And I would just love to see, giving her, a true experience and everything. And it sucks to see the bashers, just shows how bad she is, blah, blah, blah. No, she's not. She isn't. She's the strong point on the show. And I never said that about Colin. I never said that, during the Peter Davison era. Oh, I love the Doctor. I love what he's doing. No, I didn't. But Jodie, I think, is doing an amazing job. And, she's taking poop and making it into bronze, because it's not gold. It is not gold. It will never be gold and everything. But she's taking it and putting her heart into it. And you could tell.
Yeah. I mean, it says more about her as an actress that she's able to do as much as she has with what she was given, because she's been given very little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's something you need from the Doctor. I mean, that often the Doctor, even in the past, had bad scripts and, bubble monsters coming after them. And it's the Doctor's job to sell it. John Pertwee's got to pretend like this thing waddling towards him is the most terrifying thing he's ever seen. And it's the same now. I mean, the special effects are better, but you get a bad script or you get a rough episode. It's up to the Doctor that's the core of the show. That's, it's her job to sell us on it. I think she does a great job of that.
Yeah.
The one line I loved in this, Sea Devil, land parasite.
Right off the bat.
Dispense with the calling of names.
Exactly. That was just awesome.
I did think that was funny.
It was, to me, that was one of the best lines in the show, and it came early.
By the way, on your just recent rant there, Mike, Tom says you're my hero, Mike favorite, and Matt says let's not call him bash. Plenty of time for that when you review his stories.
Okay, true. You're right. And we've met Colin multiple times, and he's an amazing man, and he's been vindicated because of Big Finish. And,
he's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm hoping Jodie's Doctor will do the same. And, she's already said, she wants to come back already as the Doctor in audio adventures and such. And so I'm saying bring it on as long as Chibnall's not involved. I want to see it or listen to it.
She's already done an audio adventure.
I was about to say, isn't there an audio thing she's doing?
Yes, there's a podcast that she's on. That's a Doctor Who story.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And, bring it on, as long as Chris is not involved with it, I'm there.
Big Finish has good writing, and that's been the for not even Jodie's run, even Capaldi's run was a lot of that was writing. The complaint from most fans was writing, at least here. So yeah, going to Big Finish, it's like finally getting these actors to to be able to perform with good writing based on their characters.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, it gives depth to their characters and such. And I'm not 100% sure if when they get to Big Finish, I want to see Dan or Yaz with her. I want to see her with other characters or and such.
Or at least give them something to do.
But, or as Graham, there's always Graham fellow.
I want to see, of course, I want to see Graham.
Yeah,
actually get his own series.
Yeah,
that's. Right. I mean, I think we're all agreed on that.
Oh yeah,
I would like to have more earlier
Torchwood Graham.
Yaz.
Him and Captain Jack all the way.
They should put Graham in Class. That would have saved that show.
No.
Really? No, actually, I'm not sure anything.
No, sorry. I'm not agreeing with you on that one.
I couldn't finish the first episode of that.
I don't think you were alone, dear.
Really? You didn't miss many episodes. It didn't go very long.
Nope. Oh, gosh. But you know what, folks? I think, it's still new Doctor Who, and we got it. Now we have to wait 6 months, folks, for new Doctor Who to show, because I think they said October 18th is the next episode, and because that's the 100th anniversary of BBC.
Oh, wow.
And so we have literally 6 months, because we're recording this on the 19th of April. So, we also have another anniversary that I'll talk about at the end of the show that, we have to bow our heads to. So, but I don't want to talk about it yet. But overall, I think, I think some of the things were forced. I thought the whole thing with Yaz, bullying Dan, into, you got to wear the frilly pirate
That was
out.
actually just kind of distasteful.
It was. It was stupid. And she said, and she was like, at least he didn't bring the hook. And he brought the hook. It's like, really? It reminded me of Back to the Future 3 with Marty wearing the, what the 50s cowboys looked like. And everything.
That's what I thought.
It's like, is Dan blind? He can't see what Yaz and the Doctor are wearing? That clearly it has the traditional Chinese patterns or at least the fabric in it. He can't tell the difference between that and a pirate costume?
Yeah.
It was.
And Dan's kind of a history nerd, at least for Liverpool.
Yes.
I mean, he's hanging out in the museum all the time, giving tours.
And he does recognize some of the pirate characters in this.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's not completely an idiot. But yeah, he's treated as a stooge, of course. And yeah, that's lazy and cheap too.
No, it was. And was like, the kids will love it. He'll be dressed like, something out of Peter Pan. Really? And everything. I want to know where they were trying to go, because the Doctor said they were off by 400 years and they were in 1807. And it was just like, okay.
They just said they were trying to go to the beach.
Exactly.
But a beach in China?
Yeah.
Because again, what they were wearing, wasn't necessarily beachwear.
Yeah. I wouldn't think that's what they would wear at the beach in the 21st century,
Yeah.
So it's just like, it just didn't make sense, folks. Yeah. There was just.
I did like Jodie's outfit though.
Oh, she looked great.
Oh yeah.
No.
And then she still wore her boots. I love that.
She looked more comfortable in this story than in any other story that she's done.
Yeah.
No, and it was interesting because, the costumes were great. I will say that. I thought, whoever did the costumes for this, thumbs up. But, I liked, the villagers. I loved, what the pirate was wearing. I liked what, the ancient pirate was wearing. Even what the Sea Devils were wearing was kind of cool. But it didn't make sense that they were wearing, buccaneer outfits where, why are they dressing like humans? They're supposed to be anti, land dwellers. Wouldn't they be wearing whatever tunics or whatever they were wearing instead, which
fishnet?
Yeah, exactly. Well, pretty much,
Lots of
fishnets. And it was just really not smart on that part. And I could see, they hijacked the ship for fear to scare the humans. That makes sense and everything, like the Flying Dutchman type thing.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a cool effect the first time I saw it. And, after that, it was just, it looked like they took parts from the TARDIS and made it into the console for the Sea Devils. It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to get off my soapbox and stop bitching and moaning. I feel like that's all I've done tonight. Okay.
honestly, my husband and I, when we were watching it, we just kind of started Mystery Science Theatering it. Yeah, because it was just such quick editing, and just I don't know why, but I was just being more nitpicky than anything. Even when the Yang, what was the ancient guy, when he gets lifted out of there, and they're like, oh, that's been there forever. My husband goes, oh, look, it's Echo. This is now a Bad Batch episode.
Wow.
Like, oh no, save him.
Wow, we went there. It's true. It's true.
It's like, that's where he's been. They just locked him up. Okay. So now we're going to have is it now a rescue mission? But like I said, I just feel like this episode might have been written a lot more expansively, and that it just we got the little really truncated part where my whiplash just going back and forth and wondering, did I miss something? Because honestly, there was one part where I'm like, wait, because I remember I went to the kitchen, came back in, and then that's when Dan and his friend were upside down. And I'm like, wait, did they actually swim? Because I know I did not leave that long. He's like, yeah, they swam there. Can't you see all the water dripping off them? I'm like, wait,
what? We did see them actually get on board.
You saw them get on the boat.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah,
they didn't edit that part out.
Okay, so I did miss something. Oh, thank.
They don't seem to understand that the way to tighten up a story is to throw out subplots. You don't just truncate them into little tiny scenes and stick them together. You throw out what you don't really need so you can make a more cohesive story. And this has happened a lot in Chibnall's era. And I'm sorry, Chris, but I'm not sorry to see you go. I'm sorry to see Jodie go.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But, yeah.
So, all right, should we rate this now? 1 out of 5 TARDISes, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. And, we've had enough final thoughts, so we're just going to jump into the ratings right now. Before we do, any comments on Facebook, Mike?
Most of the comments seem to be agreeing that this is I think at best it's a decent episode. I think most people are saying it's enjoyable, but not, they're finding a lot of things wrong with it as well. And it's unfortunate. And so yeah, I think it's the general consensus seems to be there. I haven't, if there's certainly anybody out there that is really loving this episode, please don't feel free, don't let it stop you. I mean, if you enjoyed the heck out of this, then good for you. It's just not. I wanted better,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and rate this one. And I'm going to pick Charles to go first.
I'll go 3. I thought it was fine.
Okay.
It was sort of fun Sunday afternoon watch, but didn't blow me away.
Will you own the DVD of it?
I'll own the DVD of everything. That's not a good judge. I own terrible things on DVD.
1,700 DVD Blu-rays. No, we're not a good judge on this.
Okay. I asked the wrong person then. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Okay, Veronica, what about you?
3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I consider 2.5, but I gave it a little extra.
Okay. Mel?
I'm giving it extra with 2.
Wow.
This is not an episode where I would recommend it to a new Whovian. It's not an episode that I'd recommend to somebody who's a history buff or knows Madam Ching and thinks, oh, we're going to get something like a very, similar like a treatment like Tesla's episode where you're going to have a little bit or the Villa Diodati. Right. Not like that one. I can't say that this is going to be like it. So I'd give it a 2. I will try to rewatch it just to kind of see if there's anything else I would like about it. But
that actually was my next question: is if you would rewatch this.
If it's on, I'm not going to seek it out.
Okay. No, totally fair.
Sorry.
No, that's cool. All right, Mary. Follow that one.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 3, and mostly on Jodie's performance because she was again fantastic. The story doesn't hold up, but the stories never do in this era, and I feel like I'm always grading on a sliding scale now because if you look at it in the range of Chris Chibnall's stories, then it actually might even be one of the better ones, but that's not saying a lot. Unfortunately, I was thinking about this the other day that, when I hate to compare, but when RTD and Moffat were showrunners, there's not that they did mess up, they did sometimes, but there are episodes there that just haunt me that I just can always go back to. That there's just something about them that stays with me. And I don't think there's anything in the Chibnall era. Maybe Rosa, but he didn't write that. That's going to stay with me. I don't think I'm going to seek out much of anything to rewatch, and that makes me sad because Jodie is excellent. Jodie's amazing.
Okay, Mr. Mike.
Interesting thing to think about when we finally do our overview of this era, for sure. Because I'm probably along with you in that regard. Looking at it as a Doctor Who story, I've already said it's middle of the road. It's 2.5, 3 for me. I will say, because I am interested in Mistress Ching and her character as a figure, historical figure, I wish that her story was told at some point, like through film and television. Her full story isn't really told, and I think it would make an excellent story depiction. I think she's depicted well in this. I can't complain. Better than I think, because her character is also in Pirates of the Caribbean at the World's End. I think this is a better depiction of her than that. But so if you're a fan of that character, this is probably not a bad watch for you because she's treated pretty well, I think. And I do want to find out more about her. So like most of the Doctor Who historicals, mission accomplished there. But apart from just standalone and being, one that I'm going to want to watch over and over again, this one, it's not even the best pirate Doctor Who one. Like, I would watch Curse of the Black Spot over this one.
Well, you might just get your wish in a couple weeks, Mike. So there you go. Oh, spoilers. Sorry. So yes, it should be said that I love Doctor Who before I give my rating because
Ooh. Did my rating just elevate by not being the lowest?
No, you're still the lowest.
Okay, cool.
But I am going to give a 2.5.
Oh, okay, not by much.
And not by much. I will never go below a 2. I'm going to hold off before I say that fully. But I love Doctor Who. I love Jodie as the Doctor, like I said. But even Jodie couldn't save this one. And the editing was horrible. The story was wretched. And the whole scene between Jodie and the Doctor, Jodie's Doctor and Yaz on the beach was just forced. And I was hoping for more. I love how they brought up how the Doctor said, my wife. And I love, talking about, how I can't get close to people. And I enjoyed that part. I really, really did. And I wanted to love that scene. But it felt like, let's just stick it in there and shove it down your throat. And that's what it felt like.
It's also really horrible, too, saying she's like, I can't get close to people. Oh, by the way, did I mention I was married once? Like, oh, so you can?
But I was a different man then. That I got close.
I like that, but I was a different man then. Yeah. And
that was kind of okay.
Just to make it clear, you're the one I can't get close to.
Exactly.
You're the one who has commitment issues, dude. Come on. But it's interesting, too, because technically the Doctor's been married twice. So, because Susan, the supposed granddaughter, and then River Song, of course. And I still want to see River come back, but it would be...
I want that. I want Jodie to be when River mentions your worst, the wife she had.
Yeah.
I would love it for that to be Jodie.
Exactly. And I think that would have been awesome.
I want a River and Madame Ching episode story.
Oh, that would be awesome
amazing.
Episode.
That would be an amazing crossover.
That's
and
what I want.
Well,
Vastra and Jenny too.
Yeah, and
come on, Big Finish, make that happen.
Come on,
that's the one.
We still want to hear. Dun, 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 dun.
No. Well, you know what? I would excuse the theme for that story.
Okay.
Yeah, you can fast forward through that.
Okay, so we've talked about the episode. Let's get to the trailer.
Hang on just a second. First, I just want to let you know that. Okay, so Matt says it's better than Matt Smith's pirate episode at least, so we disagree on that, but
no,
that's fair.
Disagree.
Barbara says I can watch it again, so it's okay. Better would be nice. And Steve Fowler says it was nice to see the Doctor in another sword fight, although no repercussions for Dan dispatching a bunch of Sea Devils. The Doctor certainly wouldn't approve of that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of killing in this one.
Yeah. So yeah, the enjoyable is about as good as it gets as far as the audience here. So. Oh,
I thought it was cold, like when Ji-hun totally stabbed the one Sea Devil that was laying, the leader. And it was just like, and the Doctor was like, what did he do? After Dan had already killed all those other ones.
Right.
Right. Put the other dozen bodies on the ground. Oh, we're going to ignore those?
Yeah,
exactly.
He totally ignored the village full of dead people also.
At least he had cause. I mean.
No, he did. Keep me in a box for how many years? Come on.
Exactly. I'm like, take my ship and then keep me in a box for 100 years. Yeah, I'm killing you.
Exactly. So, all right. Trailer time, folks.
This was the best part of this episode.
Yes, I give that 5 stars, truthfully.
Yes.
But it's the only time I'm going to give it 5 stars because I know when I watch it, I will not be giving it.
So yesterday, when what I actually said to Mike Faber is that we're going to find it difficult to talk about this episode when everybody wants to talk about the trailer.
Yes,
that's all we really want to talk about. And so, yes, I know all of us have been looking forward to this.
I've watched that trailer like 4 times already. It was like
the trailer's awesome.
Yes, and
but also, like you were saying, I mean, it's Chibnall's last go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you can pretty it up by putting a bunch of guest stars in it, I guess.
You could put a lipstick on a pig. What?
I don't care. I just want to see Ace again.
Yes.
You get to see Ace. You get to see Tegan. And you also have what's her name? The head of unit.
What's her name? Kate.
Kate Stewart. Sorry, I had a brain fart.
Stewart.
That's right. So you had Kate Stewart. You're probably going to get a lot more that we haven't even seen. You have the Master.
Oh, yeah.
You have the Daleks. You have the Cybermen, including that one guy from the Gallifrey story. And it was just like,
yeah.
And so who I thought was turned into a little action figure. So it's interesting to see him back.
He was turned back.
Yeah, of course. It was just a flesh wound.
He got better.
Exactly.
Much better.
So, and it was interesting to see. Also, of course, get some of the folks from Flux back too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Vinder's back.
Vinder, you got to see Vinder, and of course, you get the Master, and which I would have been shocked if they wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And everything, because I have theories, and I'm already loving how articles are coming out that Chibnall's already saying. RTD is going to pretty much ignore everything I've done. I think we all are.
Yeah, I think we're already there.
Yeah. Most of us are already trying to.
Mm-hmm. So, but it's just interesting. I clapped when I saw Ace, and it was just like, I was like, it's Ace! And then it was just like, it was cool.
Oh, no claps for Tegan?
No. I didn't even recognize Tegan.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, man, she looks familiar because I think I think the last time I saw her at a convention, she looked
she looked just the same,
a few years ago, but not used to seeing her armed. But yeah, Ace was awesome. Before I was still trying to figure out who Tegan was because when I saw her, I was like, I recognize her. Who is that? And then Ace is there, and I'm like, oh my god, that's awesome. Forget about anything else that's come before this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's been 4 decades since I've seen him. Well, it's been 3 for me. It's like, whoopee, Exactly. And it was interesting. I would have loved to have seen maybe even Joe Grant or, something.
Yeah.
which would have been awesome to see Katie Manning back. And
wow, Joe's been getting a lot
or
of love.
Susan.
I've heard other people saying like, "Where's Joe? Where's Joe? Where's Joe?" I'm like, wow, she's got a fan base that's going rabid.
But then again, I would have loved to seen Captain Jack, in there too, or even, dare I say it, some of the Torchwood gang that are still around. It would have been kind of cool, but.
My God, how much do you think that they're going to do? It's
going to be like a 5-hour episode.
It's going to be.
This was your life.
Everybody's on screen for 60 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a parade of characters.
Well, they're going to have Graham somewhere in there. They're probably going to have Ryan somewhere in there. Even during the regeneration or something. Doctor.
She can go around and visit all her old companions, like in the End of Time.
Exactly.
Yes, and I want to see Grace as the frog. Really get me a deep cut.
Wow.
About that.
I like that episode.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's what I liked.
I'm on Team Frog. I'm with you.
Yeah, and the odds are you're probably going to also see the Renegade Doctor somewhere in there too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
Joe Martin, sorry. Would have been, it's, you're going to see stuff like that in there. So I'm going to be very curious to see what they do with this. People are pointing out, pictures of I think it's, Dan in the spacesuit, but holding the helmet it was shattered like a gunshot or something, dead center in it. And so it's like, oh, don't say they're going to have like a sniper take out the Doctor and that's how she regenerates. And it's like, please don't. No.
Our good friend Mark said, basically, Doctor Who, No Way Home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With constant audience pops.
You know what? It'd probably be the most popular episode that Chibnall's done.
But it has to be longer than 47 minutes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, Mike.
Quote-unquote feature-length episode. So, 49 minutes.
49. Oh.
Well, those 2 minutes will be the bonus material on BBC America's second
That'll be
viewing.
the special edition.
Stay tuned for a special scene.
Wow, I missed 3 cameos in 2 minutes.
The bus that goes by, you have to look in the windows.
Who's in the bus?
So we kind of.
Oh, wait, that's where Graham's driving, right?
We kind of knew this was going to be a big deal. Obviously, it's a celebration. It's her last episode. It's a regeneration episode. It's an anniversary episode, so it's going to have all that stuff. We've heard many rumors about other people appearing, whether it's other companions or doctors or whatever. This sounds like a mess to me, but it could be a good kind of mess, kind of like the Five Doctors. The Five Doctors is a mess, but it's fun, right? Because of all the cameos and seeing all these characters again. That's kind of what I'm expecting out of this. It's going to be a typical Chibnall mess, but it's going to be fun because there's going to be a lot of like cameos and cool appearances.
Yeah, very much so. But also remember, folks, this is not the 60th anniversary special. That's still to come.
No, that's in 2023.
Yep. So
with RTD.
This is the 100th anniversary for BBC. So there's a lot of pressure on him for this one too. So I'll be very curious to see what they end up doing. So I'm going to look forward to it.
But Mike, I think you've already sort of suggested, though. I mean, you think this whole timeless child story is going to be finally ended, right?
I hope to God, yes. God, I hope so. Come on.
I would count on it.
He's destroyed half the universe, over half the universe. Half the beings on Earth were destroyed. Dude, there has to be some kind of, I don't want to say reset button, but there has to be a MacGuffin somewhere or something like that.
He also introduced sort of formally introduced the idea of a multiverse here.
Yes.
In the Flux storyline as well. So
yeah.
Mark's probably not too far off when he says it's going to be like No Way Home, right? Because there could be, some multiverse things happening.
Yeah, it could be. Well, one of the scenes that kind of tipped me off with that a little bit is you see the Master in 2 different forms in this. Mm-hmm. Same actor, but two different forms.
Right.
So what's with that? And so I'll be very curious, what they're going to do. Yeah, would I love to see Michelle Gomez as Missy? Yes, but that's not going to happen. But you got to see two versions of it, so there's some interesting things going on, and they left so many plot holes from Flux that have yet to be answered.
They're not going to be answered.
No, they're just going to ignore.
And the centenary special is going to have more plot holes. It's not going to make any sense. But like Mike said, hopefully it's just going to be a fun ride, and I'll be happy with that.
Yes.
Do you think that we'll actually see the new? Well, do you think we'll see the new Doctor? And do you think that person will be revealed between now and then?
BBC officially has said that the new actor is going to be announced within the next month.
Oh, okay.
So, and it was officially announced by the Beeb. It's not, rumor or anything. So, probably the day this goes live, for Earth Station Who, the podcast, will be the day they announce who the new Doctor is.
Did you say by the Beeb?
Yes, I said by the Beeb.
Why?
It's the Beeb.
It's the Beeb.
Because he's a
That's what it's
Beatles
called.
fan.
Because I'm a hipster. No.
No, okay. So maybe it's just my age, but when you said the Beeb, I went to Bieber.
No.
Oh, no.
No, I never once thought that. Nope.
Sorry.
Okay.
You're not that young.
No.
I'm not that young, but I was like...
Wow.
So Charles is going to be sleeping on the couch tonight. So it's okay. So that's awesome. But yeah, and the other thing, actually, Russell T Davies has already come out and said he wants to try to get it back that Doctor Who comes out once a year, in the spring like it used to be when he was running the show.
Yes.
And because he wants to make it more consistent, and he says that's been part of the problem with Doctor Who, is that the series, has been too scattered. You can't go 2 years between seasons. We talked about this last night on Earth Station 1 about the Fantastic Beasts. It was 3.5 years since the last movie came out. Way too long to do a sequel. And especially if it's a direct storyline. And Doctor Who's been running into that. Exactly. It's been too inconsistent. And you have a holiday special, but each year, but that's it. Sometimes it's, you're going almost like 18 months between seasons, and you're going to lose fan base. And the way to build fan base is consistency. And
I'm sure. I'm also sure he's tasked with building a franchise universe too. So not only are we going to get new Doctor Who, we might get, maybe not Doctor Who stories, but we may get Doctor Who universe stories every.
The DWU.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. If it's a good spin-off, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, his initial run, he was Torchwood, and he kept trying to build, in class, but he was trying to.
But he did Sarah Jane
building.
Also.
And yes, and he's in Sarah Jane.
Yeah. So.
I'm sure that's part of the reason why he's back as well, to bring part of that into it as well. So, I mean, good things to come, hopefully. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to this too. I mean, it's Jodie's last party, so I'm excited for her.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very much so.
I hope with all the razzle dazzle of all the other companions and everything else, that all the other nonsense that's going on, I hope she has some moments too, because it's her last outing. So please let her have some moments.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much so. So I'm looking forward to seeing 6 months from now that we're going to get new Doctor Who.
It'll be here before we know it.
Oh, I know it will. We have so much to talk about. There's so much that we have planned. So, don't worry, folks. We're going to be around. We'll be coming back again in 2 weeks, as always. But before we end this show, I want to dedicate this episode to Elizabeth Sladen, actually. Today of this recording is the 19th of April, and Elizabeth Sladen passed away on April 19th, 2011. So, I think it's kind of apropos that we're here and And
years ago, my goodness.
I know it's shocking how long, it just feels like yesterday. But I say that a lot of things as I get older too. So, so it's crazy. And, she's still to this day my favorite companion. And I think she's a lot of people's favorite companion, especially those who watched the old series, or were introduced to her back then. But then you have people now who grew up with the Sarah Jane adventures and everything and so, to them, same thing. So it's pretty cool. So, thank you for everything you did, Sarah. So awesome, folks. This is going to wrap up the episode. Any last words or thoughts on Facebook, my friend?
Well, again, we've got about, half a dozen people still with us. So thank you for that. Thanks for sticking around. A lot of people looking forward to the new one and a lot of fun ideas about what could happen, who could pop up. So that's fun to hear. But and some emotional thoughts about Elizabeth Sladen as well.
That's cool. See, you have good taste, folks. What can you say? So thank you guys, everybody on Facebook who's been paying attention to us, everyone at home who's been listening to us. And like we said at the beginning of the show, if this is your first episode, welcome, welcome. We are so happy to see you guys. So we are going to be back again in 2 weeks. And folks, we're not doing another Sea Devil story, I promise. No.
There's no more to do.
I know, we've done all three. So we thought it'd be kind of cool. Last year, we actually reviewed the first Ninth Doctor Big Finish adventure. So we are going to, this time, look at the second one. We are doing Respond to All Calls. It's the second storyline of the Ninth Doctor adventures on Big Finish. So should be a ton of fun. So until then, let's thank everyone for being here. Of course, Earth Station Trek, Monkeying Around podcast, Felt and Nerdy folks, Charles and Veronica, thank you guys so much for being here tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Anything you want to promote?
All of that stuff you just mentioned.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Bye.
Earth Station Trek and is a podcast we do regularly. It's here on the ESO network. We talk about Star Trek. Monkeying Around is our new podcast. We talk about the monkeys. And of course, we don't have an upcoming show right now for Felt Nerdy. We just finished our first burlesque show. So we've started doing a little bit of burlesque and drag shows. We bring the puppets. We let them handle the burlesque and drag.
I was going to say,
Dragon Con.
Yeah.
We'll be at Dragon Con.
Yeah.
Yes.
Will be our next show.
Yay, Dragon Con.
Yay.
Yeah, there's no more Wholanta for you guys to go to, sadly enough.
That's true.
So, because I think that's where we met you guys originally, I think.
I not originally. Originally, I met you guys at Farragut Fest.
Oh, that's right. That's true.
Long ago.
I miss Farragut Fest.
Me too.
Wow. Yes, it was the coolest thing to open your eyes and you were in the hallway of the Enterprise. It was just like,
yes.
It was so cool.
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys so much for being in,
Thank
helping
you.
out tonight. And of course, Melanie, thank you.
Well, thank you. I always love coming on here and chit-chatting about one of my favorite shows.
Well, we always know, it's always good we can count on you. You're awesome. Do you have any shows coming up or, anything you want to promote?
Just the next show will be next month. Will be MegaCon in Orlando. That will coincide with the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS's 10 years on Facebook.
Yes.
And so we're going to be doing hopefully something a little special for at least I think it's the Thursday is the actual date. But other than that, I'll be there, hawking my wares and talking Doctor Who and talking Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Being a geek, in other words.
Being a geek in general.
Exactly. It's perfect. And where can people find you? Find your stuff.
You can find me on Pieces of Melee on roll.com, on the Instagrams, on the Facebooks, on the Twitters, or on the Etsy's. So anything on internets, Pieces of Melee.
Perfect. Perfect. And let's thank our regulars, of course. Ms. Mary Ogle, thank you as always.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love talking to you guys about Doctor Who.
Anything you want to promote?
You can find me at maryogle.com or on Etsy at eVision Arts.
Excellent. And, of course, Mr. Mike Gordon, we made it through another one, my friend.
We did, and as always, it's my pleasure.
We have a new Dragon Con report coming up very soon, don't we?
We have a new Dragon Con report coming out because we've done 3 of those already, so it's time for our April one, and we're going to be doing that on the week after the town meeting, so we'll have a lot of news, hopefully, and fun stuff to talk about. And of course, the main show, Earth Station 1. It's always fun to hang out and chat about whatever. We've done some really great episodes lately.
Yes, we have. Not lately. I think through the whole series we've done some great episodes.
We were coasting for a while. Come on, admit it.
Yeah, in between episode 250 and 345, we coasted.
I would say probably between 250 and 604.
Okay. Wait, those were the episodes when you started hosting the main. Oh, got it. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So perfect. But yes, this last week we actually reviewed The Secrets of Dumbledore. That's available now when this goes live onto the podcast. And then next week we are going to be talking about our favorite road trip music. Should be a ton of fun to do. It's always fun when you can talk about some of your favorite songs and everything. So it should be awesome. You could find all of that as part of the ESO network, or you could find us, wherever fine podcasts are found. Look up Earth Station Who. We're there with them. So just look for good podcasts and say, what's a good Doctor Who podcast? All right. Oh, there's Earth Station Who. Okay, we're there. So it's perfect. So definitely, we'd love to hear from you guys. Or feedback at earthstationwho.com. Always, write us, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, the usual. And of course, might be the second to last new Doctor Who for 2022, but we'll be with you the whole time. So don't worry about that. Until next time, my name is Mike Faber. We will see you here next time on Earth Station Who. Peace, and we are done. Boom.
Woohoo! You have been listening to Earth Station Who, a bi-weekly pop culture podcast dedicated to all things Doctor Who, featuring talent from across the universe. All topics on the show are the sole opinions of the individual and are used for entertainment value alone. You can subscribe to our podcast up on iTunes, Stitcher, or follow our blog at www.esopodcast.com. You can also follow us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. If you enjoyed the show, please leave feedback up on iTunes.
Comic-Cons are back, and fans are ready. Hear all about it on The Con Guy Show, where we keep you up to date on all the events, the movies, the people, and the conventions that drive your passions and feed your fandom. Straight from the nerdy heart of Hollywood, California, we are proud members of the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.